So good morning, everyone. This is John in Boulder. Welcome to our Monday morning Heart Resonance call. As all of you can see, Shelley's beautiful face is there, but she is definitely dealing with her mom's situation and won't be able to join us this morning. So I will begin our call, and then Henry will come in and bring us into today's topic. So it's my first time doing this, so please bear with me.
You probably want to suggest everyone goes on mute unless they're talking.
Would everyone go on mute unless you're talking? Thank you very much. So I have a nice script here that Shelley gave me, and I'll do some of this. So, as stewards of the good of the whole, our mission is to cultivate an ethos of wholeness and advance a whole world view, providing opportunities to experience, embody, and express our inherent wholeness. We are intentionally building a field of consciousness and coherence and come together as whole beings, contributing and in service of the greater whole. So as we go along today, please feel free to offer whatever comes from your heart, whatever comes from this moment. Speak for 1 or 2 minutes. And please, between shares, rest for a moment and allow what has come through from the previous speaker to inspire you and open you to whatever you would like to share with our group. Also, before and after you speak, be a conscious listener, allowing the thread of what is the information coming through to us from the resonant field to heighten and hold stronger that information for the good of the whole. And with that, I will do a little dropping in for us before we turn this over to Henry. And so if you would please simply close your eyes for a moment and take a couple of nice deep breaths. And allow your body to respond to the infinite and ever-present love that's flowing through all of us simultaneously. Be aware of anywhere in your body that might be in a bit of resistance, and breathe into there and just relax so that you allow yourself to have a whole body experience of this glorious energy that we refer to as the resonant field. As you breathe in, allow whatever information is being offered. And as you exhale, allow that information to be embodied. Resting at the bottom of your exhale before taking the next breath. Being aware of allowing your unique gifts and talents to come alive. Cherish your value. Cherish the value of the others in our circle and allow us to share this resonant field with all of the world, especially now in the situation we all find ourselves in. And with that, I turn this over to Henry for his share and bringing us into today's energy.
Good morning, everyone. I'm actually going to, before I begin, just to invite us into the silence together just for a moment. Linking with our circle this morning and opening our senses and linking with people in our country and all over our planet. And opening to what is being called from us at this time. And the theme for today is soul senses. I feel like this is a time where we have the opportunity to open more deeply to that deeper place in us. And the senses that make us aware of all of that we have been cultivating here, whether it be the heart sense, the inner or soul sense of love and interconnectedness, and the sense of the larger field of energy that we are a part of. So before I do the reading, I'm just going to invite us to go even deeper at this time into that awareness perception. This reading reflection is from Alex Gray, who's that kind of amazing artist. And it begins, "Dear God, thank you for all the senses given through my body and my mind. A sense of smell, touch, taste, hearing, vision. Through these channels, I know the world. I orient myself in space. I am warned of danger. I am drawn to nourishment. I delight in your world. By the gifts of the saints, I know there are senses of the soul. Clairvoyants sense a world unknown. Mystics see your face, God. Allow my spiritual guidance system to open and wisely use the senses of the soul to better serve the world, so that obedience to your plan may be more certain. When you see that I am ready, may I receive these gifts of the spirit senses to perceive the visionary worlds of your divine imagination. So the inquiry or reflection, how do our senses, how do your senses, our senses, both inner and outer, help us connect with the greater wholeness, the greater truth and trueness within and all around us. And I now place the crystal into the center of our circle and invite your sharing.
Thank you, Henry. That was amazing. Thanks to Mr. Gray. What a profound and beautiful piece. So again, just be aware as you're moved in this moment to reveal what your senses are receiving. Please share that 1 to 2 minutes, your reflection on that, and then a moment of silence to let that reverberate before the next person speaks. And please do so as you're moved.
Good morning, this is Nahid Boulder. Thank you, God, for the dream of our hearts that brought us together to this moment. Thank you for our collective dreams, that it gives me the experience of myself in this embodiment. Thank you, God, for the desire to manifest and embody as us, to have the eyes to see myself and everything that I adore and is dear to my heart. This is a celebratory moment for me to have all these faces. That I don't know even how to describe it when I see your faces. Thank you for this moment. You allow me to feel it from the top of my head to my feet on the ground. Thank you. I am complete. Now.
Good morning, my fine hearts. This is Nancy out in California, not so sunny. And I've been aware of my senses a lot this week. Everything from someone that came to help me clean up some things yesterday that used a big Sharpie pen to write something on a box, and it was an immediate reaction. My whole body just reacted to the smell of that pen, and it just set me off like that. And my initial reaction was to, get kind of fearful and angry. What's this just done to my body? I can't stand how I feel. And I had to really calm myself down and just observe, because this is what's happening to me with my sixth sense and everything that's going on in the world right now. In the same way that being with you all is so calming, nurturing, it's that using the senses in a positive way to take in love. And it's just that feeling of everything's going to be okay when we see each other's faces. It's like, it's all good, all is well. That beautiful sense of connectedness. I mean, we couldn't social distance on this call if we tried. I mean, it's as if we're hugging. And, what a time to have social distancing for people like us who love connection. So I think we're all people with heightened sensitivities in a lot of ways, environmentally, spiritually. And it's taking me some effort right now to not tap into the fear and focus more on faith, connection, and what we have here together. So I want to acknowledge my heightened sensitivities and senses and know that we can use them for the highest good. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful to have that intuition, that connection, and maybe it just comes along with, freaking out when someone has a Sharpie pen in the airspace next to you. It was kind of like the virus. It's how I felt when I was at Trader Joe's days ago. I had no idea it was, going to be crowded and all of that and frenzy and crazy. And there was some man coughing, an old man coughing in there, and just totally freaked me out like the pen, So I'm going to use this awareness that I'm sharing now to get me through the day and to just be, it's okay, all is well. I will end with this. This is something I'm going to say to myself, but I'm going to say it to all of you. It's a phrase that my grandmother, when she had to put my mother in a place when my mother was a child, because she couldn't take care of her, but she was a very loving and very spiritual woman, my grandmother. And but every time she left, my mother, she would say these words that I'm going to say to you. I clothe thee around safely in God's infinite love and protection. I clothe thee around safely in God's infinite love and protection. Thank you.
This is Sharon in New Jersey. And I'm feeling an appreciation for my physical senses, and that I'm not coughing, and that I can breathe, and that I'm feeling good actually in my body, which is nice. But I'm also really appreciating our other senses. And one of those, I think, well, a couple of ones that are just right here, right now, is we have all learned on this call how to be connected across time and space. So there is no separation. There's no separation. And here we are. So we're the one and the many right now on this call. And we know that. And so that's very sustaining. When we're on the call, it's particularly joyful. When we're off the call, it's still there. We're still present. We can still be present with each other, and we still can bring that connection through. And I think that's one of the knowings and the ability to sense that and know that we bring into the world right now. So people want me for my Zoom expertise, but I think they also want my knowledge that you can be very connected through Zoom. You know, it's a fabulous medium to begin to experience that more deeply. You don't have to be physically touching. And the other thing I think that we do here is we listen with our heart. So that's really an extra sense. We like the knowing, the tuning in to the field, listening carefully, and then speaking from whatever truth we're experiencing. So all of those are skills, their abilities, their senses, our ability of using our different senses, and what a gift that is. So right now, that and our ability to rest in, to not be fearful, not be prone to fearfulness. I think that when you can tap into this greater experience of connection and stay in that, it cuts away a lot of fear. I mean, you don't go there so much. And if you do go there, it's easier to come back out of there and remember with each other. So we are remembering in our zoominess here. I taught somebody the other day, I'm like, well, you can kind of hold hands through Zoom. You just kind of go like this and find each other's hands on the edge of the screen, and we can all hold hands. So find the edges. See right there. I've got John's hand on mine and Henry over here. See, there we are. Hello. So, so thank you. I'm feeling pretty complete in the moment, and I'm eager to hear what else is speaking through the field for all of you.
Well, Kate in South Dakota needs to chime in on that, because, as John was talking about us holding hands around the world, I was just really into it, really feeling it. And then the whole visual was shared, and I had to go, I always stay on speaker view, but I had to go. It was so cute. Here I was, me and Jess were holding hands for me. So it was just, it really embodied it, if you will, for me, of how we're ahead of the curve. We've been connecting in this form. I don't know, I guess this self-imposed quarantine is kind of a norm almost for me for a while. I get intuition of where I need to be and where I need to go, and it's been less and less that I need to go. And it's nice to know the computer's here, but I feel like my brain atrophies a little bit when I use it too much. I'm better off reading books and doing things like that. And so I feel us doing that on a global scale. Everybody's staying home, and being creative at home and exercising, and we're, following our lead here and connecting through Zoom calls. And anyway, honored to be with you all. I'll return the talking to Crystal. I wish I had a semblance in the other room. I do. Okay, loving you all.
Elizabeth from California. So beautiful to be with you all. So often the shadow shows itself in ways that are challenging for us to really drop into the message. And one of the messages that's come to me in this time that keeps repeating in my brain is there's nothing like a situation like this to really see our interconnectivity. We are seeing the evidence of how we are all connected as one species in real time. So really embracing that knowledge and using this energy where everybody's waking up to this, to give this message to the world and fill those networks that are opening with love and not fear. And those of you that know me, know my water faithfulness. And the message that hasn't really been putting out from anywhere that I've seen is drink more water. Drink clean water. Allow the water to wash you clean. Really evoke the energy of our oneness, of our connectedness, of our common bond. And love that water. Put your love into that water, and that is what will carry it around the world, because there's only one water on earth. And the other thing that keeps coming to me is I think we should bring gloves back into fashion. All those beautiful driving gloves that our parents wore, and realizing that might have been more than just a fashion statement. It might have actually been a, before hand sanitizer, a way to come home and remove what you've come into contact with around the world. So that's a suggestion as well. And really be a radical activist for love in every communication that we share. That deep, deep quantum love that's in our cells, that holds our DNA together. And really allow ourselves to be the vectors for that, for this, for us, for who we are on this call, and how we, in so many ways, reconnect to that core truth of the love of life for itself and the love of water for us as water emerging as life. I'm complete. Thank you. I love you.
Good morning, this is June from California, and what I'm finding and really relishing is is the slowness of life when we're not able to run around the world and be involved and have to get somewhere. And it's like it's opening up a whole way of having your senses just huge. In other words, every moment it's like I'm feeling something that I'm usually running so fast, I miss it. And so this has been really for me a chance to enrich the quiet time and feel what it feels like to be in my garden and touch my flowers, what it feels like to hear a voice on the phone or see your beautiful faces. It's like time has slowed down and given each moment this precious vitality and depth of connection. And so I'm really working with using this quiet time to reflect and to write and just to feel, just to sit and soak in the sounds, the feelings, the love that's all around. And I love that people are putting up in our neighborhood things saying, if you need any help, I'm here. I'll take you. I'll pick up your groceries. And it's so delightful just to see people there for other people. And it's so hard in the crazy way our world runs. So it's almost as if this is a time of reconstituting, getting this new structure underneath that's flowing because it's not solid, but because it's just so rich, and powerful. And so I'm just, I'm really appreciating this quiet time and trying to let all of the other feelings that come up. Well, what about money? What about this? What about that? They're all there, but there isn't anything I can really do about them. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna sit in this and I'm gonna soak it in, and I'm going to not only soak it in, but then I'm going to spread it out and see how much love, I can give to the world. So thank you so much, and I'm complete.
What is loud in here from what I heard is new patterns are forming. This is what Barbara in one of those 52 quotes was saying. It's be ready for the new, when the new patterns are emerging. To call them in and to be integrated. I feel this is for the work that we have done. This is the time, this is the emergence time. And in the conversation, it just came forward that I had with John last night. I was aware of, this is like, when you send an email to a friend and you don't know how they're going to react and you want to be cautious, you say, a gentle reminder. It's like the universe, the wires is the most gentle tenderness way of the awakening. It's like, can you believe it? Just you have a flu, and if you're done in here in 2 weeks, you're gone. And what other gift it has brought to us is like somebody says, wake up. Not wake on your butt, but it's just a gentle reminder. Get up. Wake up. It couldn't be better than this. We've done the work, and this is the result. This is how it feels like. I salute you all, and I bow to all of you, to all of us, for doing such a wonderful work. Oh.
This is Dinah in Oregon. We are, as Alex Gray calls forth, we are embodying our connection of divinity, landing it in matter, in material experience. And we are conscious that we're leading this transformation. Our leadership is in motion, is connecting. And this is our wholeness manifesting in our experience, where we know we are one. We're whole, and every moment is our wholeness. And we're learning to receive that and then transmit that. And this experience of complete connection and unity is our heart resonance. It is our frequency of home and wholeness. And this is what we're doing here. We have cultivated this field and planted it and watered it with the spirit of life and relationship. And we are tending to our harvest. I'm complete.
Morning, everyone. John again. Really, what's coming through for me is our reflection for today is soul senses. And in my very brief journeys out into the world from the sanctuary of my home, it's easy and obvious that the overwhelming majority of people that I've come in contact with out there, like all of us to one degree or another, have relied virtually 100% on the incredible gift that we were given from the beginnings of our Homo sapien experience, and that is the 5 senses that our bodies have been given to decipher the information, the stimuluses that have come to us. Now, when those 5 senses and our bodies are threatened, we become very afraid, and there is a lot of fear out there. And yet what is transpiring at this point is that we've had to shut down those 5 senses to a certain degree, or at least become more aware of them, because there's an external threat that we're picking up by the 5 senses. And so there's this panic, we've relied on that, we've built our lives around it, we've patterned our societies around it, we have developed social networks around it, we have devised financial systems around it, and we gauge the success or failure, the joy or the fear based on those 5 senses. It appears with this global situation that we are being asked to constrain the five sensory input in order for the soul senses to become alive again. It's being demanded of us to get back on track with the nature of the universe that extends infinitely beyond just receiving the resonant field vibrations through the five senses. We are coming together in this group, and I'm sure many more like us in small pods around the world, beginning to live more fully through the soul senses. And it's an incredible gift. There's a price to pay, but as someone said to me yesterday, if we look at this, it's quite a soft experience. We've tried to do it for millennia through war and killing. Some of the messages have come through natural disasters that have taken tens of thousands of lives in brutal ways. We're being asked to wake up here to those senses, to receive the information coming through the resonant field, through our heart space. And yes, there are deaths to an older generation, to us. And then look what's being spared by this worldwide phenomenon. Children are not dying, and the heartache that goes with children dying is brutal. Not that it's easy to allow our friends and parents in their 70s and 80s to pass. And yet, if we look at this, what's taken place here, compared to a lot of the processes that have happened to help us awaken, we can grasp this one. We can hold it. We have been confined to our homes. We have been confined so that all of the stimulus that we've developed in order to feel good, entertainment and sports and all of these other situations that we've relied on and built our lives around are not available. What does that allow us to do? To find out the love and the joy and the exquisite experience of life through our soul senses. That we can then maybe manifest in a new way with our brothers and sisters around the planet and ourselves, a new way of expressing the higher vibration of the love field. It's difficult and it's a gift. It's on the verge of the new evolutionary being, as Barbara Marx Hubbard lined out quite exquisitely. But we are the pioneers now of this. When I go into the world, I don't shake hands anymore, but I look into the eyes of everyone I can see and bring the love through, that exquisite energy that can be shared by all of us without some defined process or pattern that we've used in the past that is now archaic. We're on the verge of an incredible new possibility. And I'm so grateful to be here with all of you who are the holders and the pioneers and the expressors of that love energy for the good of the whole. Now I'm complete.
Okay, I'm gonna pop in. Can you hear me? Maybe not loud enough. Okay. I'm just thought for a moment I would just pop in on that on that frequency, because this is the magic of life, is when we're aware of and so deeply governed. The governor is the sensitivity, where we as a culture are coming back into this high level presencing, which is heightened sensitivity. And I'm just grateful. Thank you, Henry and John, for stepping into new role, and each one of us just I just feel so grateful, just getting a few pieces here and there of what everyone's been sharing, and being in this experience of this transitional time with my mom, and watching still everything that was just being shared, like it's true. Like I went out to try to buy toilet paper this morning and forget it, man. It's just like, wow, I went into a public market and I just had to get out of there. I just said, I'm not going to be in this vibration, and went to Trader Joe's, and it was amazing. You could feel the difference at the same time. People lined up at 8 a.m. and I just feel like we're so blessed. And even in this journey with my mom who's transitioning, and watching that, really what I want to say is the state of innocence and the moments of stillness. Those are aspects of our senses as well. What a beautiful sharing and reflection, and that we have the opportunity to be riding a wave of consciousness that connects through, even when the body is declining, even when the body is dwindling. You can look into someone's eyes and you see that soul presence. And even to have a chance, I didn't even think I could get on to see each one of you, and to know, like, I get to look into your eyes, I get to feel you, and feel that love and feel that support, because it is what is missing on this planet. And if anything, it's interesting, like seeing my grandchildren are here, and we just kind of let go of the non-hugging thing. It's just like, forget it. Do we believe? We have to be discerning, but we're here to hold each other. We're here to wake up with each other. And I think this is the opportunity of this virus. It's been amazing. There's been that gamut, that big swing of, like almost like a little woo-wooey with it, I was reading Julie's, in the digest, Julie wrote a beautiful article. And it was like, whoa, be a friend with this. And yet it's the same thing. I remember years ago that it was, I had a client, and it wasn't until she befriended her own disease that she could rest in it. She could work with it. She could love herself through that. So I think there's something to everything that's being said, and being in that heightened experience, that heightened sense of the heart, that soul sense that's being shared, is this opportunity to really gain a high level of acceleration and momentum in our path, in this living resonance. I was thinking a lot about that this morning. So I'm just grateful to just have a moment with all of you, because you're my family, and that really makes a difference. It makes a difference on all levels. And so I give back the virtual, radiant, crystalline force of love back to you all, and thank you for holding space while I'm going through this with my family. And it's a journey that we all will be taking on some level. So thank you so much. Love you.
So we have about 5 minutes left. So anyone that has not shared and would like to, this would be the time to do that. So please do if you wish.
So much is resonating. A lot of what you said, John, really, really powerful. And so, and Shelley just touched on something, because I've been thinking about the fear being contagious, and the fear of fear kind of causes a panic. If we can allow ourselves to kind of feel various different levels of vibrations of fear, or that could be labeled as fear, and something is about fear is a contraction, and there's expansion and contraction, and we inhale and then we exhale. And as a society and as a world, we've been growing and expanding and going outwards, infinite growth, economic growth, consumption, plastic, this, that. And it's like, now this has set a reset button, and this contraction is almost needed on a physical level of consumption and politics. But as you were saying, to kind of stop looking outwards at those five senses. How can I satisfy my taste, my smell, my vision? I want to constantly have input. And this is slowing us down, like June said, slowing us down. And that's bringing us into those soul senses and that presence. So I don't know who was speaking, but the words reset button just came to me. And so that's what I want to share. And blessings to you all. And I want to also say, integrating that fear into a wholeness, not pushing the fear away, sort of welcoming the blessings of the fear, as well as sending you infinite love. Mwah.
Hi, it's Kelsey in Minnesota. What everyone has shared so far has been so beautiful and just so touching. I'm so happy to be here with you all. And agreed, like on so many accounts, I feel like we're in this field together. And of course, we have a frequency that we share here that this virus, I don't think, is on the same frequency as. And I think that's where we need to maintain our consciousness, our level of awareness is on this different frequency, because it can't get to you there. And I think about this analogy of the field, and that we are the field, and the field is a bed of love. We have to remember that weeds grow in the field, right? As well as like flowers and all these things. And when the weeds grow, and if you panic about the weeds because of the way it looks, like a coronavirus or whatever that weed might represent, an ailing parent, sometimes we will put fertilizer on, or some sort of killing agent to like kill the weeds, but that affects the soil, right? That affects the whole field. So it's kind of like letting that, somebody said like be friends with coronavirus, or be friends with these things. And I think you got to like see that the weed is growing out of love too. I mean, if it's all love, the flowers and the weeds, they all have some sort of benefit. And just as you're describing, and John and Shelley and everyone who spoke, it's there is something magical in this as well. I mean, the death rate and the dis-ease and the panic, of course, is not something that we want to necessarily celebrate, but it is really reconnecting. Like love, you don't have to social distance from love. You don't have to social distance from Jesus Christ. You don't have to, whoever it is you pray to, or whatever that is that the field, each other, this vibrancy, this frequency, and it, I'm like looking out my windows right now. It's just this beautiful snowfall, and I happen to be lucky that I live on this like llama farm, so I can go out and enjoy the animals, or nature is readily available to us, and it allows us to breathe in good air, and it allows us to tap into, you know, cooking with our hands and feeling the salt in the fingertips. And when you're cooking and chopping, you know, whatever it is, you're breathing in that scent, which prepares your body to digest that food that you're preparing. I mean, there is such an interconnectedness in just the simple task of cooking a meal. And for me, that's something that I really enjoy and need in my life. And I'm hoping that, you know, people maybe who've gotten far away from the, you know, forgot about the field, that maybe this is a time to tune in and use your senses. And hopefully people are finding community like we have here. I think that these are going to be more abundant. I'm seeing really positive responses, as well as, you know, the panic. So I think that there is a balance, and I'm really happy to be sharing that with you all. And just remember to keep your frequency up here where the virus doesn't live. It can't really, like, happiness and connectivity gives you immunity. So with that, complete.
So we've reached the top of the hour, but if anyone has a last thing that they just want to bring in, a minute or less, we can go a couple minutes over.
Hello, this is Oriana, and I was at another meeting, so just arrived, but I wanted to take a moment to just feel into the field and have a moment of breathing in, feeling deeply, really knowing that this is the moment of great change. It is the moment when, as things go into flux, great change is possible, so that we hold that future unfolding as the highest possibility and feel it as the field that feels the highest possibility, evolution unfolding to its realized potential. As an acorn has the entelechy to be an oak tree, we hold that highest possibility and feel it within the field, that is what's calling us forth as our future, and feeling that future, that is meant to be, where love is what is communicated in the field of highest possibility. Thank you.
I'm trying to share with you the llamas, if you guys can see them out my window. You see the llamas? They're loving the snow. They don't care about the virus. Anyway, that's all.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Henry, did you want to say something?
Yes, just quickly to close. To know the divine parts, these are just some words from a class that I took. The divine parts of ourselves, we need to senses or to cultivate senses that go deeper than our five senses. Let our spirit soar, we must reawaken the senses. The mission of humanity is indeed to reawaken its sensitivity. The mission we have to fulfill as humanity is to learn again to feel the other and to feel life in general. And I just invite you to, in more of the additional quiet moments that we have in coming days to just open your inner or soul senses more, or just open in the silence. Thank you.
Thank you, Henry. So in closing, let us not forget about the Wednesday morning mentoring stewards call if you wish to be part of that. And of course, the Good of the Whole community page, and the digest is always available to give us upcoming events. And so in closing, this has been incredible. My heart, I'm sure, is all of you, it completely opening, and sharing this with the world is what we're about. And if we could, we usually do like a yum thing, and we can do the yum thing, but I love what Sharon brought to us about touching the sides, and let us join hands this way. And yeah. And whatever sound comes to you, apparently, we can do that.
Know that I'm not on mute.
Until next week. Love you all. Bye-bye.
Yum, 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 yum.
Shalom.